Do you know who this is, Mr. Dixon?
No, I don't.
Well then, would you be so kind as to read the statement that you took from him on the 3rd of November, 1974? A statement, my lord, which vindicates all of these people, all these innocent people.
My lord, I need to see a copy of this statement.
Someone, either that man or his superior or his superior's superior, ordered that these people be used as scapegoats by a nation that was baying for blood.
My lord!
In return for the innocent blood spilled on the streets of Guildford, and by God, you
Mrs.
got
Pierce
your
is
blood,
making a
Mr.
political
Dixon.
speech. This is
You got
outrageous.
the blood of Giuseppe Conlon, you got the lifeblood of Carol Richardson, and you've got 15 years of blood and sweat and pain from my client, whose only crime was he was bloody well Irish, and he was foolish, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mrs. Pierce, I will have you removed from the court.
And one of your colleagues, my lord, who sat where you sit now, said, and I quote, "It is a pity you were not charged with treason to the crown, a charge that carries a penalty of death by hanging, a sentence I would have no difficulty in passing in this case."
Mrs. Pierce, I'm trying to read this document. I will not tell you again to be silent, or you will be removed from the court.
My lord, this document brings the entire British legal system into disrepute.
My lord, this is new evidence.
It is shocking, new evidence.
My lord, this evidence was not submitted at the trial that is under appeal.
That, I believe, is the point that Mrs. Pierce is trying to make. Proceed, Mrs. Pierce.
My lord, I demand a recess.
There will be no demands made in my court. Stand back.
My lord, this alibi for Jerry Conlon was taken by Mr. Dixon 1 month after Jerry Conlon was arrested. This note was attached to it when I found it in police files. It reads not to be shown to the defense. I have one question to ask you, Mr. Dixon. Why was the alibi for Jerry Conlon, who was charged with the murder of 5 innocent people, kept?
The real artists will work on, you know, the question is never the money. It's never about the money. It's about, it's about something else, you know. In this case, it was about the work, you know, good for him.
Well, I remember Daniel Day-Lewis saying he passed on the payday for Interview with the Vampire, speaking of a Warner Brothers film, although before my time there, and it was to do In the Name of the Father, because just of the personal impact of what the movie meant to him, you know.
In the Name of the Father is like, it is like an extremely strong movie. Like it is.
For sure.
Again, even just the first 20 minutes are enough to just blow your mind, man.
Yeah, that ending too, though, when they're finally, it's dropped and he goes out and they try to make him go out the back door. And he's like, nope, I'm a free man and I'm going out the front door and I'm going to address the crowd. He does exactly what the Gestapo doesn't want him to do, which is talk about the case and how they were basically pinned to it.
Silence! In the matter of Her Majesty versus Gerard Patrick Conlon, the case is hereby dismissed.
Let's go. Come on, sir. Come on. Sweet. Let's go. Go in over the back.
What about Giuseppe Conlon? Your Honor, he was an innocent man!
Honestly, it's not a good idea. Use the back.
I'm a free man and I'm going out the front door.
In the matter of Her Majesty versus Paul Hill, the case is hereby dismissed.
versus Patrick Armstrong. The case is hereby dismissed. In the matter of Her Majesty versus Carol Richardson, the case is hereby dismissed.
I'm an innocent man. I spent 15 years in prison for something I didn't do. I watched my father die in a British prison for something he didn't do. And this government still says he's guilty. I want to tell them that until my father is proved innocent, until all the people involved in this case are proved innocent, until the guilty ones are brought to justice, I will fight on in the name of my father.
Very moving bit of high octane crazy. A movie I think everyone should see. I think personally.
Oh, it's one of the great movies of our time. It's just incredible. I can't believe we went past Sinead O'Connor and we didn't speak of that.
No, I know she'd be pissed off. She's now rolling in her grave, going, "God damn you, Field Report." Daniel Day-Lewis is certainly known as a guy to give it his all to the point of crazy. I mean, I remember he said on Last of the Mohicans, he's like, "I'm one of 4 men on the planet that can run and reload a 17th century musket at the same time." And I'm like, yeah, it's quite an accomplishment, Daniel. Too bad you're not going to use it for jack shit after this movie's over, but I get the dedication. Anyway.
I worked with a designer that told me a story about Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot, because he was, of course, he'd gone...
Unreal.
Yeah, and Unreal. Yeah, great movie. He'd gone totally method, and he was in a wheelchair, and he would get his helper to get, feed him and to get him here and get him there. And he was in the I don't know, something happened to this is a very film set story. And anyway, that someone in the lunchroom had left, his guy had left, and so he was left there and he couldn't get to his food because he was, acting like he was still in method. And he was and he finally asked one of the Teamsters if they would help him. And they said, the equivalent of Teamsters, and they said, get your own lunch. You know how to feed yourself. And everybody in the lunchroom got up and fucking felt shitty and left. Oops, I'm using the land. Yeah. It's just one of those things where an actor can be very demanding on the set. And when you get off the set, the people that are on their lunch break don't really want to be part of it anymore. They want their time. Yeah,
there's a line there that you're crossing. And when you start going into the Teamsters real world, the tolerance level drops significantly. And but he is definitely all of that and more. There's been so many great stories about how he's basically taken his sanity in his own hands to execute like a role. Did you hear what Wes Studi said? Like, Wes Studi played the villain opposite him in Last of the Mohicans, which is a beautiful film, by the way.
Another spectacular movie. Spectacular.
Yeah. Way better, if I may say, than the book was. But Wes Studi finally gets to, do a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, and he wants to meet him. And of course, he's supposed to torment him through the entire picture. And he goes, "I want your autograph. Can I have your autograph?" And like Daniel Day-Lewis is like, "Yeah, of course." And he goes, "But you have to sign it with your left foot." And he finishes the story by saying, "I got the autograph." So I don't know. And probably Lewis still has the skill, right? Lewis could probably still in practice.
Something with his left foot. I'm surprised he didn't have somebody actually, a foot stand in, if you will, do some of that stuff. Really, I mean, it's very, very difficult to get to that place,
I think that's what they would do now, right? They would bring in somebody who actually did art that way, of which there are many fantastic artists who've overcome challenges and can do it however they need to do it. You'd probably bring in an expert, right? Anyway.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.